You're listening to the Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net. freedomtalkradio.net.
Well, hello there, and hi John, you're in the chat room already, good. We're on air without too many glitches this morning, or this afternoon. It's 1 minute after midday. And what is today's date? It's Friday the 24th of July 2015.
This good one.
And we are broadcasting from the home of the Christ, Brian Leonard Go Lightly Marshall, the new name, hello Rodney, the new name of the Revelation 3:12 and the name written that only he would know of the Revelation 19:12. So all prophecy is unfolding at the moment. Pope Benedict XVI, who is the reincarnate of the Apostle Peter, to be born again means to reincarnate. The knowledge and teaching of it that he taught Nicodemus, as Jesus, he taught Nicodemus a lengthy conversation when Nicodemus asked, "What do you mean? How can a man enter the womb of his mother once again?" Well, that's exactly what happens. The soul lives many times down through the ages, like the rising and the setting of the sun, until the time of the end, when the souls that have reached their perfection come to their eternal mansion, and that is all playing out now. Evil doesn't reach its perfection, of course. They are given up to 7 times in the refiner's fire, and that is what is playing out now upon the earth. All evil is gathered upon the earth for the judgment of God. The throne, the white throne of judgment, has already occurred, and it is being it's now, because it's already occurred in the heavenly realm of no time, and then everybody reborn onto the earth to face the execution of the sentence, isn't it? So the judgment's already happened.
That's why I have our chosen people.
The switch.
Which is in charge of everything.
Self-chosen, their God is Lucifer. The Bible itself is a construct, and Christianity today, for the most part, is trapped within the words of a book, which are simply ink on paper put together by evil men, the scribes and the Pharisees, who have manipulated and left out essential information so that the reader of the book, with the mind closed like a bear trap, will die for the words in a book, when the Word of God, as Jesus, he was a man, a living soul, speaking the words of Yahweh, who was resident within the blood of Jesus, the soul of Yahweh in the blood of Jesus. And that is why the cross had to occur the instant of time that it did, not a moment before, not a moment later, because God, Yahweh, reveals all things through the synchronicity of numbers repeated, through the movement of the solar system, the movement of the planets at specific instances in time, lining up so that only in this generation now, because of technology, can he explain through the use of computer programs the King James 1611 only Bible, not the words, however the numerical value of the words that were arranged by evil men, but it doesn't alter the numerical value. That is why he said, I'm the Alpha and the Omega, meaning the beginning and the end of the Greek alphabet, Gematria, the 888 for Iessus, but the 888, that is 3 groups of 8 letters, which is the Greek alphabet. The first group of 8 letters, a numerical value from 1 through to 8, the second group from 10 through to 80, and the third group from 100 through to 800. Iessus, the 888. So, with the alignment of the planets on his rebirth hour, which is what all time is measured against in this, not even his it is his second incarnation, because it was Yahweh in Jesus, but he is not known as Jesus, the young buck, in this incarnation. He warned his disciples, to outside his disciples he spoke in parables, so that the Jews at the time, who were not true Jews, would not understand. And so it is today. We have the false Idumean half-breed Jews, the Pharisees, priesthood from Babylon, overtaking the temple, who are controlling the temple now through the reincarnation of their evil souls. Until now, we have compounded interest on the souls, the lives that have lived, until gross darkness has covered the earth. And only the light of Yahweh himself exposing it all through his measuring the earth, his creation, to share the information with a dumbed down, deluded and deceived, absolutely devoured mankind. Devoured through religion, devoured through all their holy books. You've got the Talmud, which is the Bible of the Jews, call themselves Jews and are not, condemned as Jesus, that was the Mishnah then. The oral tradition, it was a condemnation of them. And he warned them then, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Well, they cannot, it's all playing out now. Then you've got the Quran, which is the Bible of the Muslims, that put together by the same Jews who infiltrate everything. It was all the Jews. The House of Saud are Jews. So you've got the so-called writings of Muhammad. It's all the same evil scribes that have infiltrated.
Not one word in the Quran was written by Muhammad.
The 3 major religions, and religion itself is bondage. So you've got the same scribes that have influenced the books that and the writings of the Bible. Everybody's in bondage to it. The Word of God was a man, first time and second time, the two-edged sword, the words as Jesus and the words as Yahweh, the Father, the Comforter, the Holy Ghost, with his new name, Brian, let it go lightly, Marshall. And it's the name written that only he would know. So if only he would know it, then he has to declare it, which is what he has been doing in this time that we have through the wonder of technology and the internet, which is the like lightning that flashes under heaven from east to west. Flashing what? Images and knowledge. This is God speaking. This is how he comes in the clouds. The clouds of heaven today are the cloud banks of data over every major city, where all knowledge and data is stored, and when we click onto the internet, that's where the data comes from. So the images and the words of God come from the clouds in an instant, a nanosecond. From Australia to Rome, to New York, to London and back again, to Pakistan, anywhere in the world, to Fiji, to Papua New Guinea. Everybody's watching the same thing happening all over the earth at the same time. So the evil ones have taken over the earth. They've created hell on earth. These are the Jews, call themselves Jews and are not. Israel today. And you've got the Christians. Oh God, we've listened to so much bullshit coming out of the mouth.
Christians are Jews anyhow, right?
The Christians, Judea, supporting Israel. The Lord told me, Israel. Well, that is the spirit of Baphomet speaking. Baphomet, of course, is the Freemason front. It's all Jewish, and it is controlling now.
Because you've got heart that'll put things in your mind.
Heart creating the earthquake. Heart anything that is a 10-kilometre deep earthquake is heart. the deep earthquakes from below, you know, deep into the earth. That's well, natural earthquakes if you like, but the 10-kilometre deep, it's all HAARP creating these scenarios because it's the enemy that creates all these things. That's Jesus. He said, well, this is what will be happening. Why the multitude of earthquakes in diverse places? Because HAARP, controlled by the enemy, would be creating them. Why all these weather anomalies? Well, first of all, we've crossed over the centre, the equatorial line of the Milky Way galaxy. Everything is reversed. But then you've got HAARP creating all these things as well. And people think, oh, it's these natural events.
Climate change, huh?
Climate change, yeah. Well, they've gone away from, you know, the climate warming up. Because now they're saying, well, in 10 years' time it's going to be a mini ice age. So now it's all climate change. Well, it's HAARP. The chemicals spraying in the air to create metallic ionospheres, the silver screen. So what? They can have their hologram of their Maitreya or whatever it is that's supposed to be God coming back, speaking all languages of the, you know, that's Project Bluebeam. It's old now. That was exposed in 1994, and the guys that exposed it were microwaved from a distance. One was in Canada, another one was in Ireland, and at the same time they're having heart attacks. These are young men, heart attacks. And I read just last night that 5 men in doctors of alternate medicine who are onto the various cures out there, they've been curing cancer themselves, they've all died within the last 2 weeks. Heart attacks. Well, it's microwaves, it's scalar technology. They tried it on me, they've tried it on Yara. It doesn't work for us. And so this is what's going on. It was Jesus knowing that the devil in men, the self-chosen, would be controlling through technology. And it all passes away. So, we've got more people in the chat room. Hello to everybody in the chat room. Trevor Riley, hello. We've got Michael. Michael, good to hear from you. And Diana, of course, is there with Rodney. And yeah, good to have you guys in the chat room. Now, what we thought today, Diana, thank you for posting that video I was trying to find. Your sound keeps going off. Well, of course it does. It's not one thing, it's another. No, John Hall, his sound keeps going on and off. Alright, what we're going to do today, we're actually set up not in our dark cavern that's been the media room. We're out in the light in the living room area, huddled in a corner. And the backdrop to my right is the lake behind us. Hi, Mark. What we thought is that from that video that you found, Diana, because it explains quite simply, it's about 5 years old, and those videos were correspondence that I had, letters, writing to, I think Pierre was the one at the time, it might have been others, but explaining things from his perspective, asking questions after he found us, etc., and me explaining things. And that one about Asherah was explaining simply the role of Asherah and Yahweh. And of course it's Anna Andrea who has found and posted a lot of the archaeological diggings. They found Asherah rather, you know, Asherah, blah blah blah. The Canaanites actually used to worship Yahweh and Asherah because she was part of the Godhead, and it was removed so that
removed, but the Swidges are Jews, aren't they?
Totally. It's been turned into a patriarchal religion, and the reality is the Essenes understood that the Godhead was mother from the father and mother. I was explaining yesterday more fully that Yahweh, as you know, the baby trapped within the womb, which was the dark matter, he had to think his way out, and so he thought of the perfect parents, this loneliness of thinking up the perfect parents, and then the children that would come from the perfect parents. And the first had to come from deep within him, from his side. And this is all explained in the video. The side comes Asherah. And it was the sound, because there's no vowels in Hebrew, but it was the sound of whoosh, was Asherah from when, and she's the
That's
light.
when time began.
And time began.
See, in the beginning means when time started.
Yeah.
Before that, I still existed, but in a different realm. So there was no time there. There was no need for time. It was thought.
Right. All right. So I thought this is what thought did. I'm going to turn the camera.
You're not going to plant another bloody chicken.
No, I'm not going to plant a chicken and think I'll grow a chook. I am going over to the YouTube. I'll click on the links that we have lined up, and then after that, because it's coincidental, which is how God proves all things, Diana, that the video that you found in the title, it says December the 4th, 2010. Well, that, of course, is the marriage day in Fiji. We were invited to a Christian Hindu wedding. It was beautiful, and we were dressed in our garb, and we claimed that as our own wedding day. We exchanged our own vows, and it, of course, is the anniversary of the birth and death of Yahweh's ancestor, King William I, the Lion King of Scotland, the King of Judah, from whom Yahweh descends, the genetic key to the house of David. So, bear with me. I'm going to be moving around. On the radio, you'll be hearing me moving around. And then I'll read the script from the video that will be captured once again over on the YouTube. So, here we go.
Don't unplug it.
Yes.
Don't knock the drink over.
I'm trying to not create havoc as I do this. Loading the laptop onto the edge of the pool table and not losing the
You
connection.
can probably sit it on the green if you like.
Yes, I will.
We'll put a box on it.
Yep.
I can't get up.
No, you can't.
I got my foot soaking in a mad concoction of various ingredients. Last week was my right foot, right where the scars are of the nail. Andrew asked this morning where that was. It's very excruciating pain. And then for about half an hour I cleared up. That's great. Walking around, jumping about, no problem. Then I hit the left foot, like instantly. Right. So what you can do is just wait it out, and spend 3 days on this left foot. Extremely painful. But it usually lines up with something that's going on. So there it is. How you doing over there, little sausage?
I think I'm getting there. If this is a paste, yes, we should be there in a moment.
Well, you had it on.
Yeah, I've got it all. It's happening. It is happening. And I've got it really happening. I'll turn the camera on to...
Now put the screen forward. Put the screen forward.
Yes.
Go up, straight up and down, that's it.
Okay.
Maybe a bit more.
Right, here we are going from you over to the screen. And then I'll zoom in. And then I'll have to stand beside it as I read for the radio viewers. Pardon?
You read it from here. Love, this is my song. There is a song.
Oh, here we go. This is Asherah the mother. Asherah is the light that came from within Yahweh in the beginning of the creation. Yahweh was all dark matter and thought. From within him he brought forth the light, which equals 10% of the universe. Yahweh is the 90% of dark matter that holds everything together. The visible universe, therefore, is Asherah, and this is why she is the mother of all living. The story of Adam and Eve is a parable to communicate with mankind in a way they can understand, for truly the mind of God cannot be comprehended by mankind. It is too far above them. When the light came out from within the side of dark matter, Yahweh, the first sound was heard, and that was the sound of shh. There are no vowel sounds in Hebrew, and so Yahweh is YHWH and Asherah is SHRH. A little has been written about Asherah as the consort or wife of Yahweh. The reality is that in ancient times it was understood that the Godhead was Yahweh and Asherah, father and mother, Abba and Amma. Once that is understood, then the quote from Genesis makes sense. Let us make man and woman in our image, as a conversation between Yahweh and his Asherah. Again, the knowledge of the existence of the female counterpart of the Godhead has been removed by the writers of the Bible. However, all things have been hidden by Yahweh for protection, to be revealed at the time of the end, which is now. This is what the revelation is. A period of time from the rebirth of Yahweh until the time of the end, 69 years after. Where he, as the only mind capable of doing so, finds the codes in the measuring of the creation and the pyramid, and then explains all things to a deceived mankind. Naturally, Lucifer has to pervert all things concerning Almighty God, Yahweh, and Asherah. And so what have grown over time are the worship abominations that have deceived mankind and occupied the mind of the student. When the truth is revealed by Yahweh, it is only the meek who are teachable that do come to understand, or comprehend should be the word. The arrogant that believe and wager their lives on the knowledge that they have acquired over a lifetime will not get it. We are the divine creation of Father Yahweh and Mother Asherah, made purely out of love. They have incarnated and are here on the earth with us now. And we're watching the video of us in Fiji after having spoken to Major Rakaura, and then Yahweh's hand with the M in the middle. These last few lines were put together, I think it was Joel who put this together, or it might have been Chuka, it's either Chuka or Joel, but they're marvellous work. That was from Brian is Yahweh. Okay, so that's an oldie, just to explain simply the relationship of Yahweh and Asherah. And again, coincidentally, it was published on December the 4th. What I'll do is, because this is going up on the YouTube, I'll play Chuka's brilliant few minutes of the painting, the oil painting that he did of our wedding garments from Fiji. Again, this was all coincidental that it should be published on that day. No, that's not. I want to copy that location, not paste. It's not happening. Okay, now copy this.
Good in Word, huh?
And it's not letting me copy the link though. Oh, I see, I know. Okay, this is what I have to do, copy. Okay, so bear with me on the radio, I'm doing it again, fiddling around here. Up here, paste and go. Okay, this one's called the Picture Perfect Portrait Painting. The PPPP. Turn the volume down. Yeah, so we'll just talk about that because in the Essene...
You're going to blow it up so you can see it?
Oh, yes, sorry. Full screen it.
Start again,
Alright, let's go back to the beginning. Now I'm having trouble getting rid of this thing. That happens a lot. Stop it, go to full screen, back to the beginning. Here we go. Alright, so what's playing is the painting that Chuka did. Oil painting from the photograph, December the 4th, 2010. We're in our wedding garments in Fiji. And now, explaining more about the creation, Yar, explain about the dance that you always...
Well, as a baby, I had this enormous ability to visualize, and it is similar to the creation itself. When you're in the God mode of nothing else, you are it. What the dangerous thing was whatever I dreamed up became reality. And so I was able to create time by visualizing atoms. And we've briefly explained that before. What an atom is, it's really a separation of movement of two opposed, positive and negative, if you like, north and south, if you like, another way of putting it. And these two particles had been separated by the creation itself as time separated, propelled apart. Then atoms tried to become one by the electron falling back into the area from where it came. But, so the area from where it came, at the centre of an atom is a black hole. Now, we're all familiar with black holes, and the black hole is from the heavenly realm. So as it pours through, the electrons are first off forced away, and then pulled back in. So that's why it's just an elliptical orbit. And of course it can't make its way back in because when it gets too close it's repelled away again. So this is the part of creation that no scientists even dare to go to. Perryman, there's a man who lived in Canada, I think his name is.
What's it? Perryman. Yeah.
Perryman. A non-educated man physically in the physics, but of course got all the prizes for being able to give an explanation that filled in the gaps, so to speak. Yeah, and he was close to it.
Right, they're going about the dance.
Well, what I imagined was what the parts of a body of perfection has to be. And that is, of course, the female and the male. And the female and male must come together in a dance. And the dance is what I imagine was the stars forming the trailing wedding gown, which was primarily pink. And as the father and the mother danced together in my mind, they swirled. And this is what was spreading out amongst my imagination, but became reality. And it is only once it became reality that I fully realised what was the capability of myself when it's the all-knowing in the sense of being contained in a darkness that was trying to escape into something that was beautiful. So darkness, if you like, is the womb, and then I created a visible thought pattern which immediately became matter and time began. So in the beginning, right? So you have the Godhead creating it from a baby's point of view, which is almost undescribable to the human point of view, unless you go to sleep and dream on it to get some idea of what it's all about. So once this was in my mind what a male and female would be, this was the basis of. So in the creation story, all the animals come first, male and female, and various variations of that in reptilians and crocodiles, for example, have a temperature which controls what the egg sex is going to be, whereas in a human being, which is the ultimate creation, it came last. So what we have then is something that can be written down in a way that is going to be repeated from the side of the father came the mother. So likewise we have the Adam and Eve story. From the side of the father came the mother, and the mother was innocent because it was the Adam that was supposed to be the custodian of the garden and couldn't obey one simple command. Had nothing to do with eating an apple or an orange or a pomegranate, it doesn't matter. As the point is, it was a sin, don't do that. And the only cost involved was the loyalty to regard when God tells you to do something, as I'm telling you today. Right? You do it my way or it's a highway. Same thing happened with Adam. No, he would not obey. Do not eat that. But the devil in man that he created was then the dominant factor. And then you see the betrayal of the mother, and the Eve takes the blame for everything all the way through. And of course that becomes your Cain offspring. So here's the parable of Cain now, that is the first murderer. Ye are of your father the devil, John 8:44, talking about the custodians. Now, the custodian of the demon spirit that come out of Cain can only go into like-minded people. And of course this is the genetic line which we would call the Jews today. Lovely people though, I must admit, I'm chosen all that. But they are the custodians of this evil. And it doesn't mean that all Jews are evil. What it means is they're all stupid. and haven't got the sense to get together in the pub one afternoon and say, listen, what's going on with these rabbits telling all this bullshit and all this stuff? The internet is full of blood drinking and sacrificing Christian children. What the hell is going on? A decent Jew should do that. Well, I know a few of them. Well, won't put up with that bullshit. And they become Christians. That's what's happened all over time. The Jew finds out what the Jews are really all about, becoming a Christian. Now the problem is, becoming a Christian, you're also becoming a Judy Christian. Yehudi Christian. Because you're still going along with this bullshit of Moses that comes out of Babylon. They got you coming and going. They're too smart for you. Because you're innocent. They ain't. They've got generations of evil and knowing how to manipulate all the way through, whereas you're born into a stupid family that are a Catholic or whatever the case may be, and you've got to believe the Word of God, and if you don't believe the Word of God, you go out and become an atheist, which is totally justifiable. Right? To be an atheist in a world of bullshit. So then you've got to go along with evolution, and they get you again. Because they're the ones that come up with the evolution idea, which control all the universities, and you can't get away from it when you go to school. They teach you evolution. So what's happened recently is several people involved, but there was Dr. Behe that come up with Darwin's black box, and of course this is the flagellum bacteria that he was able to, with his colleagues, to dissect and realise that these things are made of 40 assembled parts of a motor that is so efficient that there's no human being could design and build it. Even if you know how to do it, you couldn't still do it. So this is in a little bacteria, and there's 4 billion of them in a thimble. Give you some idea. Some of them have got 3 little motors, and they spin at 100,000 revs per minute rather, and can in 1/4 of a second stop and reverse. So this is what intelligent design is, because the 100 years, if you like, of the prophecies of Pope Leo the 13th, going from the 13th of October 1884, when he had a vision of listening to Satan talking to Jesus, or the Creator. He wasn't specific, he said Lord. And this thing was asking permission. So one has to ask permission of God to allow it to do so. Therefore, God allowed him 100 years. So the 100 years are up in 1984. But by that time, the Jew, John Paul II, out of Poland, the man who delivered the Cyclone B to all the concentration camps, and he knew the amounts that was being delivered was only enough to clean the clothing of lice, which was keeping the Jews alive. And there are 50,000 Jews that gathered regularly up until the point they get too old, talking about the days of how they were protected by the Germans in the concentration camp.
What they celebrate reunions.
They have reunions every year. And I have 2 friends of mine who were complete atheists, couldn't have cared less, were in the invading armies that went into these concentration camps, and they said there were people there that had been there for 4 years and were very, very thin, and they were, as was the guards, that because there was no food cut off by the Jews that were controlling Eisenhower, controlling Rothschilds, controlling who paid for it all, controlling Churchill, and etc. Just goes being one big vicious circle of horror that people today don't know about it, because, like the universities that control the evolution of Darwin's, and then not ever talking about the fact that it's an impossibility for evolution to life to evolve from a rock. After all, if you go back far enough, let's say you go back 3.5 billion years and you're say life evolved out of a rock, because nothing come before it, there's only a rock. So how did life and amino acids and everything else come out of a rock? Well, they don't want to talk about that. So any evolution that's taught in schools never teaches that you were supposed to slide out the arse of the back of a sea slug, when in actual fact it's not that at all. you're supposed to be coming out of a rock. So your grandmother and grandfather of antiquity was a rock. Hello? So that's when you go back far enough, and this is what scientists is now grappling with, that are evolutionary inclined. They go back to the point, well, we couldn't have come out of a rock. So where did we come from? Then you've got the creation story. So the creation story has been totally misrepresented by the churches. And the churches are what? They're Judaism and Catholicism combined originally, to then come down to your breakaways of Martin Luther, and then you got your Protestant starting from that. Then you come down to Henry VIII, lovely fellow Henry VIII was chopping off his heads in the meantime, but that doesn't matter. He was a lovely man. Died of syphilis.
And he says
insane.
He says that in the same manner that he says that the Jews are lovely.
Lovely people, the Jews.
Lovely.
I believe that. They are lovely people. And we have a place for them, and they will be going to it. And then this is what utter destruction is all about. I've also mentioned yesterday about Las Palmas, because we have queries about that. And Las Palmas, if it slides into the drink, then the wave will hit the east coast of America, and that's it. It'll go right down to the north coast of Brazil. We'll go up to England, up through Europe, along the English Channel. If it slid reasonably fast. At the moment, it's sliding very slow. So if something comes from outer space, which is my territory, I mean, think about it this way. The earth has been taken over by the devil, but outside of the range of the earth is mine. What happens out there is mine. So if I decree that a small meteor is going to come in and dislodge the Las Palmas, well, that should frighten the shit out of you. And therefore say, well, this old man has been saying it all along, and of course now we've got Nibiru showing up, and we've got all the angels on the bloody planets, they're coming down, which are the 7 planets of Nibiru, and then you've got the prophecies going back to the natives of Africa, and also the ancient people in Switzerland, and also the monks of Asia, and you've also got the Hopi Indians that all have little plaques, all exactly the same. It was handed to them by the figure, the angelic figure, that they took to be Jesus, and that's a fact, that these planets are coming in, all these wonderful things are going to happen. So you can ignore it all you like. I don't give a shit one way or the other, really. Right, you're either in the go or you ain't. I don't care. Because you've got yourself in this position where you are being judged for your arrogance and stupidity or righteousness today. That's why the Catholic Church is totally devoured. Right? That's what the promise was from the Lord to Satan. Yeah, you can have it. Go what you like. I don't want it. It's all bloody Jewish bullshit anyhow. So at the end of days, and what we're in right now, we've already got the one man that I only wanted one person out of it, and his associates in the papal office, of course they were murdered, but these are all saints that offered up their choices before they come to the earth, that they would do that. And we have, of course, old Benedict. Now, he's a saint, a beautiful man, and again, like most people, he's a beautiful man, but he's got totally the wrong idea about many things, and has to be re-educated, and he'll do it my way, and that's all right. That's what it's supposed to be, isn't it? If you're perfect, what the hell do you want a God for? He's going to chastise you and straighten you out. Why do you want a father? Right? When you're a little child, why do you need a father to grow up and teach you things? Right? Why do you need it? Well, the same thing today. The world is fatherless. There's no comforter. That's what the comforter is a father. That's what I'm doing it for. Right?
Yes. And Benedict himself had to be corrected.
Yeah, it soon straightened him out.
He humbled, he bowed himself quick smart because he was warned.
He was warned. Either you offend me, you're fucked.
Totally.
There's no coming back. Right?
Mm.
That's why little people offend me. And I get some nasty letters every day if I take the time to read them. They're screwed. They don't realise how close to the pulse they are when they send me an email.
Mm.
Right? And I'll just send back all your stuff. And every time I've told people that are abusive to me that you're finished, pretty soon they come down with cancer and die. Or they get it with a truck. Something happens to them.
It's
Ren,
not a happy.
Ren
Liver
dying of
liver cancer.
I met him personally. Gave him an opportunity.
Just anyway.
You talk like a homosexual. I said, why do you talk like a homosexual? Because all his friends are homosexuals, but he wasn't. Right? But he did talk like one. I can't even do it. Hello there, did it?
Oh no, don't even go there. Mark says, I was brought up Catholic. I was able to see through the shroud. Yeah, well, it is...
Oh yes, at the Vatican. There's a banner now.
Yeah, Gabe posted that photograph this morning on Facebook.
Apparently Gabe was asleep, and when he woke up, there's this banner hanging over him. And he sort of wanders out and have a look because he can see it from the inside where it's all reversed. So he goes out and have a look. And what's the banner say?
Well, it was from July 29th until September the 17th. And there's Francis shaking hands and embracing a Jewish
Francis
rabbi.
No.
Oh, sorry, it was. It was John Paul II shaking hands and embracing the Jewish rabbi. And it was, Gabe said he was lying down asleep. And he's right in the colonnade area where we were lots of times of the Vatican. And he's got a photograph of his foot, and he's woken up, and literally above him, within feet, probably 15 feet in front of him, but above him is this huge banner. So he wakes up to John Paul II, who is the one that finished off the 100 years that Satan was given from 1884. It was sealed, I believe the date was February. I thought it was February the 2nd because I thought of Groundhog Day. February the 2nd, 1984, when John Paul II stood up to address the United Nations and proclaimed man as God, and all of these abominations and lies, and the melding together into one all religions, and the Luciferian agenda that has always been is to be worshipped by mankind. Well, it succeeded in that respect. All mankind is worshipping one abomination or another that all leads to Lucifer. And Benedict himself, innocent, a naive man, innocent, and he loved John Paul II because...
Oh, he adored him.
Yeah, he adored him. He thought he was a man filled with compassion. Well, this is how the enemy does. It parades as something that you can love and worship. It doesn't come out with the horns and the pitchfork and all the rest of it. It's wolves in sheep's clothing. Well, this is what they are. Yahweh comes along telling it the way it is, and of course everybody hates him. Because why? He's standing up and revealing the truth, and nobody likes to hear it. And they start feeling they start feeling very insecure within their own soul. Those who are tuned in they'll start to feel sick. When they listen to Yahweh for the first time, they may begin to feel sick, and then they'll make excuses for that, say, well, he's the enemy, he's the deceiver, and all. No. What is happening is that it's the shaking to the core of the soul within that recognises how deceived it is, and the judgment that it's coming under, and so it will feel sick and will try to run as fast as it can to get away, and then call Yahweh the Antichrist and all kinds of things. Well,
as long as you're talking about me,
he's never cared. All publicity.
All free advertising.
All publicity is good publicity, and I was yes. Trevor Riley saying yes to Mark. Always wondered why I could not sit still during a service. Well,
Yeah, why?
yes, you want to get up and leave.
Bullshit.
Or fall asleep, whatever. Bullshit, totally. And that still continues. There's a lot of confusion happening in chat rooms, I'm hearing, by those. Anyway, forget it. Confusion is confusion. And what Yahweh speaks and what I speak is direct and it's simple. And it's not open for interpretation to be taken another way or to be paralleled with this way or that way. It is simple to cut through the bullshit, speak plainly, and still I hear stuff that is out there. They're taking our words and confusing them, or not heard properly in the first place. All the facts are being confused over and over. Or they're taking what we say and then comparing it to bullshit that's out there and come back in with total confusion representing us. Please don't. Stop talking that what we write, speak to the world. Don't try and interpret it or run it off on a parallel just in chat rooms and things, because even the simple facts of birth dates, etc., and every other thing are being confused. So this is how, what God says get twisted around, and so you get centuries away and it's all a total balls up, is what he said originally. It's been misrepresented. So that's just a little bit of admonition in this time now. And yes, Mark is saying that the Jehovah's Witnesses say that Armageddon is coming. I told them the Christ is back while they are out recruiting on the streets. Well, the Jehovah's Witnesses, actually, in your experience, they are. Everybody's as mad as hatters, snakes. Now, where do mad hatters come from? Dentists. And
there's two versions of that.
Or hatters using...
No, in England...
Milners.
In England, when syphilis was rampant, people go insane. And mad as a hatter was a term for a person who had syphilis.
Right.
That's one.
Right. The other one was that they used mercury to stiffen. Hat makers, milners, used mercury for the stiffening process of their making hats, and they would end up after breathing it becoming mad. And the same for dentists of old, using amalgam, mercury amalgam, they would end up.
They still do
it. Going mad, nuts, mental, because it does. Mercury covers the synapses, stops the synapses of the brain because it's an electrical.
Well, there's a little thing called tubules.
Tubules.
And the synapses is which makes the connection between the brain itself, and it really looks like a little mini universe if you look at it.
It's like a spark.
They all sparkle on and carry on with the movement of electrons through the synapses, and the little tubules reach out to each other from each synapses. With the mercury, it pulls it back, and they disintegrate and fall apart. It was first discovered by the observation of the brain of a snail. Well, I think these things are all amazing, really. They'll take a snail and look inside it and then put mercury in it and see what happens, and that causes synapses to disintegrate. How the hell do they get a machine to look in there and see this little tiny molecule, little tube, falling apart because the influence on the snail with the mercury causes the synapses to withdraw and disintegrate and go back into the primordial soup, if you like, of the from where it came. So these little amino acids are forming these tubes, and of course then they're destroyed by the influence of the mercury. Now this is old news, yet they still do it in your teeth if you go to the dentist. They want to put mercury in there. It's called amalgam. Now, and sometimes they used to use silver. That was no good because people get extremely healthy. You've got silver in your mouth all the time. So if you're going to have if you might have noticed some of these people you meet just after the war got big gold teeth. Well, the gold is very good for you. It increases your intelligence. So the best way to get gold into you for a long term is to wear it in your fingers and around your bangles and pieces of copper, and they do that in Africa. I first encountered that when I was in Africa. A lot of people wear a copper band around their wrist if they've got a sore wrist from arthritis or something like that. So yeah, so it's a matter of we go one step further and we do it in a colloidal silver by taking the molecules and ripping them off and suspend them in a water mix. So a little tiny gold or silver atom floating around in the water. And the water, of course, then becomes positive charged. And when you drink it, your body having a negative charge, the water flowing through your blood, because that's how it goes into your body, through your stomach, into your blood, through the membrane, and it's tiny, and it saturates your whole body. So a person who has got AIDS, for example, immediately it will kill the virus that's in you, because it's a positive charge, and the virus is a negative. And that virus has got into your cell, it influences the DNA to make another virus. In actual fact, you might have a cell, let's say like an egg, and the virus gets in there and starts causing the DNA within the normal cell to start producing more virus cells. And several million will finally burst the outer membrane of the cell, the host cell, and then it's dispersed into the blood, and of course then it goes off and starts infecting all the other cells around it. So then you have a real problem. So we come along with the silver, and the silver is actually a strange thing, because it's such a tiny molecule. It does several things, but primarily it suffocates the breathing mechanism of a cell that has produced a virus. The calcium hypochlorite, it gets into it. So if you've got both going into you, you've got the virus knocked over, and then you've got the malaria, which is a worm type thing, and it has to live off something. So it is in the blood and in the cells, and the brain and the liver in particular. So when the colloidal silver and the calcium hypochlorite are encountered by it, passing through the system, they ingest it and it blows a hole. Can you imagine this is how it works? This is how it's so simple. It blows a hole in the side of the parasite, which kills it. So then the parasite is then rounded up by the now freed T cells that have been cured from the AIDS virus, because if you've got malaria and AIDS, you've really got a problem. And then it will then form like a whale in the water. Sticks a tag in it, and the tag starts to bleed into the water, and the shark come around to eat the whale. It's something like that. The white corpuscles are now able to find whatever is not supposed to be in the body, primarily in the bloodstream, and will devour it, and that becomes, if you've got a pimple, for example, it's pussy, well, that's what corpuscles do that. That's what it's doing. It's surrounding the bacteria in your skin.
The pus is that.
The pus is the dead cell. So it's all very interesting, and we're out of time, aren't we?
We are out of time. As a matter of fact, because you were talking about a dance.
I just wanted to go back to Nagini just a little bit. We ran out of money, of course, and then Andrew put some cash up, and this was the last go. We had our own experienced buyer going to pick up from his brother a bit of gold, which was going to put us back in the running. And his family members all ganged up on him and threatened him. And he never got to go to the place that I wanted him to go to, or we wanted him to go to. He goes somewhere else. Well, there's no reason to go to that place, except when he gets there, there's an old man in a village, tribal chief, that is had adopted him as a son. And likewise, he was his father.
Yeah, known him for years.
Known him for years. Now, the story about this particular area is the old man, the old chief, had a dream, and everyone and his dog have been trying to buy the gold that they have, when they got a sizable amount. And he wouldn't sell it.
Because of the dream.
Because of the dream. However, Perry goes there, tells him about me in particular, or us, and he said, right, it's yours.
And paid the deposit.
And so he then pays the money we had given him from Andrew as a deposit. So based on that, the tribe itself, they've never had any money per se, because the old man wouldn't let them sell the gold. Right? So he's now aware that Christ is back. So then he dies that night. So...
Well, actually it was after, what happened, this happened, and then Perry leaves to go and hire
a truck to come back and get
the gold. But by the time he gets back
20 kilos of it or something.
We're just talking about maybe 2 days that he's away. The old man has died, and now everything's stopped because they have to bury the man, and there's a feast, and it's all cultural, and they don't do anything. So that's when Perry had to leave again, because by that time, when we first spoke to him, he was there with it, and he said, come, because the plan was that we would only go back when he had this, because of our critical situation. We couldn't afford to go back unless something
we're on our limited funds, right? And we're all up to here in debt as it is. And running back and forth to, first off, you've got to go down to Brisbane, you've got to drive down, it costs money. You've got to have somewhere to store the car. You then got to get on a flight.
Yeah.
And you've got to stay overnight somewhere. And then you've got to get to the other end. When you hit Port Moresby, then the price is just... If you're in New York, you would not expect to pay the money that you are charging you for a shithole, which doesn't even supply toilet paper, right? So you can't have a
working toilet.
And you can't have a shower either.
This is no
working toilet, no shit paper. So this is where you bloody end up, right? And they're howling dogs all night.
Oh yeah.
There we go again.
The point is, we did it. We did it.
So we did it. So I said to the angel, if this falls over, that's it. I'm leaving you Guinea forever.
Never going back.
Right? I've had enough. And as it turns out, they've already been taken over by the lovely people, though, aren't they?
The swedge.
And they have ripped off enormous amounts of gold. We're talking 200 or 300 kilos from just the local people.
Just one.
One guy was an enormous amount.
Kilos.
From one chief.
Since the year 2000.
So naturally, the locals are now being straightened out by what we're telling about the lovely people, chosen.
We have tithe.
That they have to tithe to their God,
the God
of Israel, not the God of Jesus.
The God of Israel.
Right? And they formed the new covenant. So Israel come in with the new covenant words. So these people are thinking, okay, new covenant, Jesus, yeah, I'll go along with that. And it's the God of Jesus is the God of Israel, right? But they ain't. So they bullshitted them into this, you see, even to the point where they'd handle the security at the airports. It's amazing how dumb these people are. So anyhow, as the news is spreading that Jesus has come back to the earth, because I get sick of telling them I'm not Jesus, I'm the Comforter. But get on with it. Okay. So they think I'm Christ anyhow. So I said, don't have anything to do with the Jews. As it turns out, this is spreading like wildfire. Now, when we first went there, who do we meet but the biggest gold dealer there, apart from one other company, that is an ambassador for the Vatican. And when he sees me, he recognises me because he come from Turin and was very familiar with the Shroud of Turin. He recognised me as being the face on the Shroud of Turin. And then he gets a story of how old Benedict recognised me as the face on the Shroud of Turin.
And Francis is the Antichrist. And
he says, I've been searching for years, 14 different countries he's been to for the truth. And I'll walk in the door with my little sweetie here.
Yeah, and I said, well,
the
search has ended.
She does all the talking.
Your search has ended today.
Huh?
Actually, you did a lot of talking that time because it was appropriate that you should. Anyway, we're out of time. We're going to, it's the weekend, so we'll be back on Monday. And yeah, everybody have a good weekend. And I was going to go out with Begin to Begin, but it's alright, we'll do that.
What's Begin to Begin? Who's singing that?
You.
Oh.
Do you want to?
Yeah, well.
Alright. Alright, guys.
This is for Diana.
Yeah. The dance.
When they begin it brings back a sound of music so tender. It brings back a night of tropical splendor It brings back a memory evergreen. I'm with you once more under the stars down by the shore. An orchestra's playing, and even the palm seems to be swaying when they begin their begin to live it again. It's past all endeavors, except when that tune clutches your heart, and here we are swearing to love forever and promising never to part. What moments divine, what raptures serene, till clouds came along to disperse the joys we have tasted. And now when I hear people curse the chances they've wasted, I know but too well what they mean. So don't let them begin, let them play. A love that was once a fire remain an ember. Let it sleep like the dead desire I can only remember. When they begin, the begin. Oh yes, let them begin, make them play, till the stars that were there before return above you, till you whisper to me once more, darling, I love you, and we suddenly know what heaven we're in. When they begin, the begin. When they begin, the begin.
The Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net.
So there you have it, guys. Just as we were singing Begin the Begin, the painting that I put behind us on the wall, which is called In the Beginning. In the Beginning was thought, it was your edge fell down on us. But I'm just reading over in the chat room, we have a newcomer called Vinny Babauta. He says, I have been seeking truth. I'm grateful to be introduced to you by my godfather, Patrick Davis. So well done, Patrick, and welcome, Vinny. And Trevor Riley is in that. These are all new guys that have come in recently through, again, I'm assuming Scylla's page. It's doing a good job there, attracting the sense. Oh, and the sense, come marching in. Anyway, guys, we will go until Monday, our time, midday, and everybody have a good weekend. And we will talk to you later, Gators.
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista.